Good afternoon, I did some Orca math. Now today we're going to be answering the very important question of how many alcoholic great white shark livers would an orca have to consume until he becomes inebriated himself and too drunk to drive? We're going to move as quickly as we can through this because this is going to be a very long video, as I spent 4 hours on this yesterday because there's a lot of calculations to go over, and I refused to do 2 parts, and you asked for this. So sit down and listen up. I'm going to need a lot of this. And if I look like shit, it's because I was bartending until 2 a.m. last night and I had to clean up somebody's vomit, so I don't really give a fuck. Now we're going to start today with a very quick biology lesson, in that sharks have huge livers. They have the largest proportional liver size of any animal in the entire animal kingdom, and it's because they don't use them as a primarily detoxification organ like we do. They primarily use them as a buoyancy organ because they are very high in fatty oils, but that also means that they are very high in nutritious value if eaten, which a pod of orcas in the Gulf of California have recently figured out and started attacking great white sharks for their livers only. Now in my shark math video that went viral, a lot of people were asking, okay, so orcas are eating shark livers. Now, how many of these alcoholic shark livers would they have to eat to get drunk themselves? And here we are. Now, let me set the scene. A great white shark is having a little fiesta down in the Gulf of California, and all of his other great white shark buddies along with him are having a little fun. Now, an orca decides to crash this party, but an orca doesn't drink alcohol, he eats it. So how many shark livers would he have to eat before he becomes too inebriated and becomes too drunk to drive? Now, I'm going to try to keep this as realistic as possible, but we're going to keep in mind that this is extremely fictional and that assumptions have to be made so that this can be done, because this can't be done in real life. So we're going to start with a 1,500 pound great white shark at 0.08 blood alcohol content. Now, it is important to keep in mind that this shark is not metabolizing any of this alcohol. It is stationary at 0.08 BAC when it is consumed. Typically, when doing drinking math, you would use a Widmark equation to figure out how many drinks it would take an individual of a certain size to get to a certain blood alcohol content, but we're not doing that today. Today we're doing the opposite. So we're going to start with blood alcohol content of an individual of a certain size to get to how many drinks they are. Now I'm going to spare all the driving and math and just tell you that a whole shark is about 708.24 grams of ethanol. But the orca isn't eating the whole shark, they're just eating the liver, so we need to figure out how much is in that liver alone. Now because the shark liver is so high in oils, it also means that they are kind of low in water, which is where alcohol lives, which means we're going to adjust for that and bring us to a total of 70.8 grams of ethanol per shark liver. This is a lot of ethanol. So now we can use this number to figure out how much ethanol it would take to get an orca drunk. Now an average orca is about 8,000 pounds and 60% water, which means it's about 2,178 liters of total body water content, where the alcohol is going to disperse throughout its entire body when consumed. So now with all of this information, we can use our Widmark equation in the correct path. Now with all of this information, I'm very excited to tell you that an 8,000 pound orca, it would take about 25 drunk great white shark livers to blow a 0.08 blood alcohol content and be considered too drunk to drive. They're not called killer whales for nothing. Okay, but this orca is trying to drive home. How long would it take for him to sober up completely before he's ready to safely drive? Now we're going to bring reality back into this a little bit and use Kleiber's law of metabolic scaling in mammal size. Also, we're going to realize that they probably have less alcohol dehydrogenase in their liver to break down the alcohol because they probably have no exposure to alcohol, and so there's no evolutionary reason for them to have a lot of alcohol dehydrogenase. So we're going to figure that an 8,000 pound orca, it would sober up at about 37% the rate of a human, meaning that it would take about 18.5 hours at 0.08 blood alcohol content to sober all the way up to 0.00 blood alcohol content and be safe to drive. What am I doing? Okay, wait, before you go, this is my best orca fit. Did I eat these shark livers or what? Thank you. Bye.